Earnings. Public companies in the US have to disclose an earnings report 4 times a year, otherwise known as quarterly earnings. So, why is this so special? Why do people care about this? Well, typically Wall Street cares about this because for public companies, they're in these indexes, people invest in them, they got to go and do their job, analyze these companies, come up with price targets, and have others or themselves go and commit capital to those, earn returns for people like you and me. In my previous career, I was one of these stock analysts where I would have to go and look at a list of companies 4 times a year. Their earnings would come out. I'd have to go and dig through their reports like you got right here for Nvidia of all this text, go and read about how their quarter was, what things happened, what things didn't meet expectations or did meet expectations, go through all the data, go into another monitor, plug it into Excel, adjust my estimates, come up with my new price target, send out a note about the changes to my price target, where I think the company is going, recap of their earnings report, etc. So why is Nvidia special? Well, it's one of the biggest companies in the world. It's the second biggest company next to Apple. And because it's got a big market cap, it's a big part of the major indexes, like the S&P 500. It makes up 6.6% of that index. The NASDAQ 100, it makes up 8% of that index. So when the earnings come in, whether they're positive, negative, somewhere in between, they have an impact on all these indexes and on a lot of people's hard-earned savings. Nvidia in particular, their earnings apparently were somewhat in line, but missed some expectations. So stock's down after hours. Where it opens tomorrow, I have no idea, but they reported earnings today. And they get a lot of attention from a lot of people. One, because for Nvidia, they create chips for AI and GPUs. It's a big stock, and it's had a big run over the past 5 years, even longer once you zoom out. But most recently, for the last year return, 168% versus the S&P 500 of only 26%. So 5 times better than the S&P, which is the market. So just by owning that stock, you could go and get 5 times the amount of return in the same time period. And because of this and the big theme with AI, it's attracted a lot of other investors outside of mainstream Wall Street, the retail investors. You guys may have heard retail investors from when GameStop happened, the meme stock craze. Everyday people getting onto their Robinhood account, their Scottrade account, their whatever account, and investing for themselves instead of sticking it into the market. And because of Nvidia's massive returns and the big AI theme, it's got a lot of retail investors interested in it. And something interesting happened for their earnings report today. Lauren over here on Twitter, Bollock, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Laura is an investor, and she went and said, hey, does anyone want to do an Nvidia earnings watch party? It's basically a sporting event. You know, everyone gets together at a bar, and apparently New York City, they'll go and have CNBC playing throughout the bar, and everyone can go and come to it like you would go and watch an NFL game, except it's a stock's earnings, which, like I said, is kind of weird for me because I'm used to, you know, worrying about it on an Excel spreadsheet and if the stock goes up or down and then making a big report and all stuff like that. But for these guys, it's different. It's kind of like cross between finances and also, like I said, a sporting event. And that tweet was from yesterday, and today it happened. It's on. And it happened right about 30 minutes before Nvidia was set to go and report earnings. And, you know, they had CNBC, which is financial television channel, on the TVs. They were going to go and they pumped the earnings call throughout the speakers. And they had this really, really cool flyer of Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, and, you know, had all the reasons where to come. At, you know, where was it, what time, and all the reasons to come. Projectors, earnings calls, beer, alcohol, Nvidia. It's going to be fun. And it happened, and it looked pretty fun, not gonna lie, versus, like I said, me and my colleagues sitting around in an office typing away on our keyboards. Joe Weisenthal, who's over at Bloomberg News and does a podcast for them, was there and had some great tweets of it looked just like a sporting event. They had the countdown to Nvidia earnings on one of the TVs. They had a couple TV shows going on, financial news networks going on. People are drinking beer. People are talking. What do you think about earnings? Who knows? It's just kind of just like what social media is, right? People, I know this because of Twitter, because it's what people call finance Twitter, where it's everyone on Twitter talking about finance. Same thing for like Wall Street Bets, just different mediums. But it's kind of cool that financial Twitter got these people together to go and watch it. And Macy over here from the Morning Brew had a different angle of it. You could go and see there's a lot of people in there. There's TV. They got all the TV screens going. People are having a good time. What was really cool was the reaction to it. This is when earnings dropped. They're counting down like it's New Year's Eve.
I want to get your thoughts on how much bonus you put on the read-throughs we've gotten from TSMC comments on improved AI demand.
And then they even start cheering or booing based on how the stock's performing. Which is pretty cool and pretty incredible. And the vibes looked pretty on point. Here's another guy, Daniel over on Financial Twitter, when it showed Lauren and Joe there, beers in hand, having a good time at the earnings report, at this kind of earnings watch party. And it kind of got me thinking, is this going to be a trend? It'd be kind of cool, not going to lie. It kind of beats the whole boring, sitting at your computer like I am, earnings report on one side, your model on the other, or maybe the stock chart if you're trying to day trade the earnings. It just makes it seem a little bit more fun. Maybe not for, the coat and tie Wall Street guys where they got to go and do this, but for other people to, take a little bit more pride in the stocks they earn, maybe, or just go and have a good time and go and meet other people that share the same views as them when it comes to these stocks and where they think they're going. I don't know. Could be cool. Could become a big degenerate fest. I'm not really sure. I think it is kind of cool when it's like this, where it's kind of really wholesome. What do you guys think? Is this cool? Not cool? Don't care? I don't know.